Hi, this is Larry Bowa, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Good old Larry Bowa, Philadelphia Phillies shortstop. Been involved with them. They were just here in town for Fantasy Week. Baseball right around the corner. Right around the
Yeah,
corner. You're not a baseball guy. Why are you even saying yeah?
I like baseball. I mean, it's America's pastime. You know, it's just as wholesome as apple pie, which is full of preservatives and uh,
Nothing
other
wrong with
things
that.
that are American. I don't know. I mean, it was America's pastime. Is it still America's pastime?
No, it's not. It's
What
not.
do you think's replaced it? What sport identifies America? Is it football? I mean, on a global stage, is it what everybody knows us as?
I would honestly think that football is the biggest sport in this country. I truly do. Baseball, I mean, what used to be sellouts, you couldn't get a Philadelphia Phillies ticket. You couldn't get a Chicago Cubs ticket. Try to get in the bleachers in Chicago, impossible. You
Yeah.
know, I've been to Philly for games. I mean, I walk right up and get behind home plate when I was forced to go to a game. So I,
Speaking
I
of
definitely, I definitely think that is dwindled quite a bit. What?
Speaking of hard to get into, Dave Portnoy announced that he's now no longer banned by the NFL to attend the Super Bowl,
Yep,
and he plans on being in attendance. So,
he has a
uh,
suite. He either purchased or was given a suite. And like my son said, he's now much more popular, much more rich, much more everything, much more influential, than he
yeah,
was before.
for sure.
So it's in the NFL and really anybody's best issues. It behooves them to have Dave Portnoy, your favorite person, back in the
Actually,
NFL.
we buried all that, man. I put all that behind
We
us. Like,
hold on a second. You say we. There's no we. There was no
yeah,
we. There was no we in that beef.
we're French. We're French, baby. We're just like you and I. It's we're like Kool and Aid and peanut and butter and stick and clutch.
All right. First of all, none of that is true. But even if it was, because we've fortunately or unfortunately been associated with each other for so long, you to say we, meaning you and Dave Portnoy, have squashed a beef that Dave Portnoy knows nothing about.
No,
Doesn't
he
know
knows about it,
you,
but like,
doesn't
no,
know
he
Bill.
knows. No,
He
he
does
knows.
not.
But just like fight camp, if a fighter goes through something, you go all together as a brotherhood. Like it's everyone's beef at that point, right? Isn't that what the start of the UFC? Like each camp, if something was triggered by one guy and another camp, and you hated that whole camp just because of someone else's beef, that was loyalty.
You really want to go there? You
Yeah,
really
let's
want me to
go
go
there.
there? You want
Yeah,
me to go there? Throw
let's
you
go
under the bus, or just pick up other
there.
situations that
let's
because I can
let's
I can throw you under the bus,
let's
which which
go.
I which I won't do because you'll make up some excuse. But that's exactly what Daniel Cormier talked about when Daniel Cormier was cordial to Conor McGregor in Saudi Arabia, and Habib came up and said, what the what? I can't believe that you would do that. And DC's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And then Habib explained, I don't have a problem with John Jones. You do. But
Right.
because of our friendship, I would not associate with John Jones. And supposedly Cormier went back to the gym and asked some people, and they all agreed with. So let's discuss something very similar to that. So Sean Strickland and Curtis, can't think of his
Blades.
last Blades.
Curtis
It
Blades.
wasn't. No, it's not. I don't think it's Curtis Blades.
It's Curtis Razor Blades. That's his last name is Blades.
Do you know about the situation that just happened out there?
No,
That's it.
no.
That's a yes or no question. Are you
Uh,
familiar with it?
uh, didn't he just say no? He just said something about immigration. About like this is what we voted for. This is why immigration or ICE is doing. This is why we elected Trump. This is what he said he was going to do, and now that he's doing it, now you have a problem or something like that, right?
All right, and it was Curtis Blades. I thought it was a different Curtis that was there. So Curtis Blades and Sean Strickland are friends.
Yeah.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I have the video of when they both stormed, inside the cage at a Tough Enough. Well, Sean Strickland invited a
An
special
illegal
guest.
fight, by the way. An illegal fight, by the way, at a professional fight by entering the ring as a cornerman and fighting an active fighter. That was an illegal act. That should have been charged civilly outside of the ring. But go ahead.
I agree with you 100%. And that's he should have been fined, which I think something happened to him. Curtis got off scot free, and I agree, something should have been done, but nothing is ever done on any of that. But I guess he brought, not I guess I know, what's his name, Kurt something, that was involved in the shooting in the Midwest somewhere, and it was a
Oh,
big
Riddle House. Riddle.
yes, Little House,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So Sean Strickland invited him into the gym, and Curtis Blades lost his mind
I did
and
see
tried
that.
and tried to kick him out. And so let me know where do you stand on that? Because Curtis is saying this is my house too. How could you do that? And it caused a rift in their friendship. I'll wait.
Man. No, I mean it's tough because yeah, you could play at both sides of the fence. I mean, you could be like, look, I have no problem with the guy. Like that's not my issue. Whatever. But like at the same time, like if it's loyalty till death and like brotherhood, if it's the Warriors and you're going to battle the other boroughs and the other gangs from around New York, and you're going to take the subway to Brooklyn and Coney Island, you want everybody unison on the same mission, the same hate, the same same agenda, same value. So, but I don't know. We live in a different world now.
But what that proves is this brother, this brotherhood, this we come from the same gym brother. And of some situations, of people that were extremely close to me, who, by the way, Saturday night deleted certain numbers out of my phone. So I
Okay.
couldn't speak to these people now, if I wanted to. But stop calling friends brothers because in the world we live in, if something sets them off or sets you off, and then you never speak to them again, then you were never really brothers to begin with. I've publicly said my older brother and I, we don't get along well, and that's mainly my fault, not my older brother's. But I'll always be his brother. I'll always be there if he ever needs anything. I may not want to be there, but I would be there. Just because they're a friend and we're brothers, closer than brothers, I stopped calling brothers a long time ago.
That was probably Hogan's biggest, like the saddest day of his entire life. You know,
The day he
not
died,
that. No, when he went on Maury Povich and they discovered that he was not everyone's brother. They did the DNA test and just devastation.
everything I said about when John Waite was on, you just lost that entire everything. Unbelievable.
Come on, man. What happened to Maury Povich? Where is that guy?
Probably in retirement.
Yeah, he
He
doesn't
was
come out
old.
anymore.
He was old when we watched him.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
where do you
and
stand? No,
Jerry
I
Springer.
need a stance. I need a stance. Sean Strickland, Curtis Blades.
Uh,
Hey, who do you know in Puerto Rico? I'm getting a call. You think it's Bad Bunny calling me?
could be Bad Bunny.
Could be.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, maybe I'll wear my sweater. Look at my polo sweater. This looks like a Bad Bunny kind of outfit. I don't know. I just don't know that answer, Randy. Like I could take both sides and be okay with both sides because I've been in both situations. I mean, Sean has every right to invite whoever he wants to his gym to train and do whatever. But at the same time, Curtis has the right to not want to be anything to do with Rittenhouse because of his actions and his
Let
controversy.
me let me throw one out at you then. Since you have brought this human, no, he's not even a human. Since you have brought this person up previously, let's say we're doing the radio show, and you bring in through that door Hitler because you said you're not sure he was a bad guy. So you bring him in because you're not sure he's a bad guy. So where would you stand? Now look outside that, knowing what you knew and now know.
Well, the question really is because I shared on my Facebook wall today and I tagged you that there's a Jewish pickleball league. It's called Nice Jewish Pickleball. And the only requirement is you don't have to be Jewish to join, but you do have to be nice. So I don't know. Hitler wasn't Jewish, but what's the
Well, he
definition
was.
of nice? But,
Well, he was.
but if he
Well, he
was
was.
nice, would
No,
he be
no.
allowed to join the Jewish pickleball league? I
He
mean,
he
I'm just saying,
he was part
define
Jewish.
nice.
Hey, idiot.
He was.
He was part Jewish.
So you and Hitler on a pickleball team would be epic. I mean, that would be the most epic pickleball team of all time. You and Hitler, like on the nice Jewish pickleball league.
I don't even know how to punch you through a screen.
I'm just saying that would be must-see TV. I mean, Paramount Plus, if they really want to increase viewership, you broadcast that live.
You are absolutely a moron. There's no two ways around it. You are a fool. With that, I need to hit a break, and I need to either bash his head or my head against the wall. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by my sponsors, certainly not the idiots. We'll be right back.
D'Lo Brown from NW18, and right here, right now, you're listening to Talking Sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Don't wait. Maximize your tax refund and minimize your stress level. Call Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions at 727-739-8627. With over 15 years experience in corporate and individual tax returns, tax advisor analytics, small business accounting, in-house payroll services, IRS representation, as well as public notary and full bilingual services. Call Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions at 727-739-8627. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's true. Very, very true. Conveniently located across from the St. Petersburg Clearwater Airport.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Fia with Remax Realty Unlimited, 813-494-4873. For 29 years, I've had the honor of helping families across Tampa Bay find their perfect homes. As a national ranked award-winning agent, I pride myself on having the best customer service and deep local knowledge. Whether you're buying and selling in Tampa Bay, I'll guide you every step of the way. Jennifer Fio, 813-494-4873. Let's make your next move your best move.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it?
That's right, Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropicana Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's, right across from the Trop. So come down and see Berg and the whole gang at Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
Berg Sports Bar and Grill.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
Hi. Am I on? Help! No, okay. Hi, this is Garrett Morris, and I'm from, well, the movie I got out of Jackpot, I can say I'm from that. Of course, my last show was Jamie Foxx, I can say I'm from that. Of course, I'm really from New Orleans, Louisiana, so I can say I'm from that. Anyway, Talking Sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we are back. 45 minutes or so of this fiasco. Well, really 40 minutes of this fiasco left, and even less with the knucklehead. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone, hanging out at the Cool Breeze AC broadcast facility. I got to get Joe Marquis over here and put this roof on. I had to relocate to a cave just so that now that I'm doing this lighting thing, so at least I can be seen and not just heard.
Speaking of cave, Two Bears, One Cave, the famous talk show or podcast with comedian Bert Kirshner and Tom Segura, posted a picture of Bert from a Super Bowl 2 years ago. And, Tampa 2, did you see the little pun, the Tampa 2, defense, offense, football reference? Did you see my post that I made about old Tampa boy?
I don't follow you, so no, I didn't see
What
it.
are you talking about? Of course you do. Like, how come he got to be the grand marshal for the Gasparilla? How come I haven't done that yet? You got connections. Go call that in for me, Randy.
Because A, you're a moron, and B, he's not. So we have to treat you like the idiot that you are.
Well, somebody who's not an idiot is somebody who's not an idiot is Justin Benson.
Can you guys hear me
EMF
okay?
Rocks. We can. How you doing, Justin? You there?
Can you hear me?
I can. You were
Let me
live.
check this microphone. Okay, Yeti microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, say something. I don't know if I can.
I got you.
Okay, and then
We can hear you.
built-in speakers. Now we go. That should work.
Test,
There
test.
you
Is
are.
this on? Is this working? Is this working?
Gotcha.
Hey, Justin. Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Welcome to the show, Justin Franson from EMF Rocks. We had rock and roll legend earlier, John Wade on, Missing You. And so rocks in bands, but you have a special product, EMF Rocks, that protects us from harmful frequencies. Front and center now with the Super Bowl in San Francisco and with all the controversy about exposure, chronic exposure to EMF frequencies. So please tell the national audience what it is that you do and how this works.
Yeah, Matt, Randy, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here. Guys, if you haven't read, there's a book called The Missing Wire that kind of came out about a year ago talking about low-level EMF and how it impacts athletes, specifically in the NFL, which is pretty crazy because this is the topic we're going into Super Bowl week, up and coming, and media week. I know you guys are going to be out there representing, and this topic on EMF is probably one of the biggest going into it. They're 49ers. They missed going to the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl is held at their arena in Santa Clarita, Levi Stadium, which is adjacent to a massive substation. And this substation is the point of contention here, potentially from the athletes, their agents, coaches, and now the press. And it's gone viral as far as why are the 49ers the single biggest, most injured team in the NFL by far for the last several years. And it continues that way. And is this substation, or is it even plausible that low-level EMF, and from an adjacent field could potentially hurt these players and cause injury? So that's the topic we're kind of diving into.
So let me ask you this. So, we know power substations are strong and it's a lot of energy, and that makes sense. But what about inside our homes? Because this week you sent me a bag of EMF rocks to put next to my router in my home office. And it's almost like a gated community. It's like bars on a window. Those are physical. You can see them. You have that perception of safety. But when it comes to EMF frequencies, we're exposed to things that we don't even know or see, like remote controls or garage door openers or EMF or Bluetooth, power lines and such. So, talk about how is this, what kind of levels are inside of a residential home or a home office or a workplace, and what's acceptable, and then what is going on in San Francisco at this field?
Yeah, so I'll back it up for you guys. There's 3 different types of non-native EMFs that we're going to look at. You have magnetic fields that you can measure in milligauss meters. You have dirty electricity. That's a faster speed of a wave form that you can get a Stetzer electric meter and plug it in the wall and meter amps to volts. And if there's static in the line, and then you have dirty you have wireless, which would get an acoustimeter, which will measure all the wireless signals. So we all, no matter what environment we're in, we're all getting blasted with a lot of everything nowadays. And the craziest stat is there's a book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, and he categorized the history of electricity in life. And Randy, you'll probably appreciate this stat just because you've been on the planet a little longer than us.
Hey, calm down.
In 1918.
I wasn't here in 1918. God.
Randy's first tablet was actually made out of rocks.
Come on now. See, I had to wake you up over there. In 1918, the Spanish flu, they call it the Spanish flu. The reason they're saying it was a Spanish flu is now because the rollout of radiation in the environment. And even before that, in 1889, that was the first time they introduced electricity in the homes. And the homes were actually, they didn't have electricity before 1889. And ever since they put electricity in their homes, every health challenge has gone up, from cancer, suicide, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular, infertility. Everything's gone up. The one consistent variable has been electricity, low-level EMFs. And then in 1889, the Spanish flu had the exact same symptoms as coronavirus, which are upper respiratory challenges. Imagine what they rolled out, with the radio waves in 1918. Well, now we just rolled out 5G. And so there's this correlation that goes back 140 some years, way before Randy's time. I'll clarify that. And so, but there is direct correlation with it. So if diabetes wasn't a blip on the radar before 1889, how is it at the top of the list right now with all this stuff in it? So needless to say, there's 3 different categories that we look at. And there's lots of history that directly correlates that to health challenges.
All right, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this from, outside of the biohacking world. We're all listening. We understand a little bit, not like you two do. What does it do? So you put the rock next to the router. How does that help me sitting 4 feet from the router?
Now, Randy, do you and everyone like to go outside into nature to get grounded?
No.
Okay, you don't like to, but that's where you would look if you wanted to get grounded, right? That's where you would go?
Sure.
Yeah. So I actually like getting outside into nature and getting grounded, and it feeds my energy. And it's one of the missed elements right now for a lot of people. Since we put shoes on our feet, we're disconnecting from nature's resonance. But to ground out a home properly and wire the home, you got to plug it into the ground, and you got to connect it to the ground. And so it's the same with our body. So what we did is we're just how nature works as far as grounding and allowing us to pull the electrons in our body to support our electron transport chain, which give us energy, that negative ionic charge of the Earth's surface, just as though we get it outside, Randy, with the EMF rocks, we're bringing that resonance inside our home to create coherence for us inside. So we're just bringing nature inside with the grounding back. So that's essentially how they work. They work the exact same as going outside into nature.
I got you. So then I can take advantage of it, not wanting to go outside.
It would be perfect for you or everyone snowed in and all the fake snow and ice storms that they're making.
Right. Perfect. I got you. All right.
So let's take it to the combat sport world for a second, Justin. So Dana White confirmed that UFC ref Mark Smith, he tore his ACL, ref in a fight. We think we know about the 49ers controversy, a lot of NFL football fans on this platform, but just sitting at a computer, being exposed to these low frequencies, lowers collagen in your tendons and ligaments. And then when you're making regular movement of getting out of the way of a fight or running down the sideline as a referee, you know, is this a byproduct of maybe chronic exposure and people aren't aware of it?
Yeah. So as far as the lowering collagen, I wouldn't go that way. It's not gonna lower your collagen per se. I know someone came out and said it. The guy that with a meter that metered it said it would lower collagen. I think that might be more of a misstatement per se, but what it will do is it'll affect your nerves. So if there's a gap from your nerves to the mechanical function of your body, that's where injuries occur. So I'm a naturopath. I do nerve work. So when you get with a nerve doc, that's what we're going to do is we're going to connect the nervous system to their endpoints. So there's no gaps or in communication from the nerves to the endpoint. Your cerebellum and your heart, like these are big areas, especially the cerebellum, that communicate with the body. So specifically for Achilles tendon tears, like they're seeing with the 49ers, or a lot of them, there's long flexion going on. You have extra long flexion, but then the extension gets short, and then there's a gap in the communication. So when an athlete goes and moves on their own and hurts themselves on their own, not a trauma hurting them, that's a nerve challenge. So the nerves mess with the connection to the endpoint. It's not like the Achilles was was bad. It's not the Achilles fault. It's the connection from the nerves. Now the Purkinje cells, there's also cells that make that communication happen. So it messes with their cells. It messes with the chemistry of the body, you know, and then first off, it's the nerve. So, and then we go into the next level, which would be the dehydration. So if you don't have that conductivity, it's going to mess with the conductivity of it all as well.
All right, so Justin, we got 3 minutes left. Time's running down for me to go get my kids from carpool and then the next segment. But before we do, you know, I've been getting on Randy's nerves for 15 years. His central nervous system must be shot.
It certainly feels like longer.
And his next time being grounded will probably be in a casket. But if there's a way you could send them a care package like you did for me, the MCT oil, I know we don't have much time, but I've been putting it in my coffee. I've been drinking it in my coffee for the last 2 or 3 days. And I don't know what this does wholeheartedly. I mean, I know a little bit because I know a lot of fighters use it for weight cut and to help with digestion. But I feel unbelievable. And I think everybody on the platform should be taking MCT oil. And please tell everybody the benefits. And then I'll let you and Randy connect to where maybe you can get him a care package, because he's got to feel what I feel right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I started working with athletes almost 30 years ago, and it started athleticism.com. And so I looked at every lane of health and performance. And one of the bigger things when I was looking at nutrition side was there's this thing called Lorenzo oil. And there was a documentary made on it. And this guy was trying to figure out what oils would be good for his son who had a brain injury. And they came up with medium chain triglyceride oil, which is MCT oil. Now, Dave Asprey made it famous with Bulletproof and put it in your coffee and your tea or smoothie in the morning. And you're burning fat all day long. So it's plant fuel to burn fat as fuel. So it's like burning a fire with a log. You get sustained energy versus feeding it with paper, which is a normal American intake of sugar and glucose spiking. Now, from the EMS side of things, one of the big things that I recognized is when people jump on, when a diabetic gets on an airplane, everyone turns on their Wi-Fi, their glucose meter goes up 200 points and they get bloody noses. Now, when you can buffer that glucose spiking with good fats like medium chain triglyceride, you're not going to be as EMS sensitive. You're not going to have crazy glucose spikes. And what you're seeing for you is more energy. You're going to get ripped. You're going to have better cognitive function. It's great for teeth and gums. So MCT oil is been huge in all these arenas, but it's biggest for weight loss. So we got to get people off of the GLPs and the Ozempics and drugs to lose weight and get them back into proper nutrition so their body will utilize the right fuel systems to lose weight instead.
Now I know why I get nosebleeds on planes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Wow. Yeah, it's a dehydration. Everything will go back to dehydration as well. So we got to get you to rehydrated. Dr. Brian Artis has this Hydrate Complete product. We're going to get some to you as well. That'll get the magnesium back in your system. But we got to get you, and then we got to get the oils back in to buffer that as well. And then you have to have coherence in your environment and create that coherence for you. So once you have coherence and there's not something zapping your energy field that messes with the chemistry in your body, you're not gonna get bloody noses from it. It's pretty, cut and dry on that.
Interesting. How can our national audience, how can they reach out to you? Is there a website? How can they purchase the products?
Yeah, athleticism.com. It's spelled athletic, ISM, for those that have trouble spelling. And emfrocks.com is where you can find the grounding bags. And so you find all our curated health products on both of those websites.
Good stuff. Justin, we appreciate your time. We're going to hit this break. Hopefully we can get you back on and talk more and get me educated. I'll never get caught up to the two of you, but maybe I can learn and move forward in that direction.
Look forward to
Randy, hold on. Before you go, it's just like we say in the fight game, protect yourself at all times, not just from physical threat, but from ones that you can't even see. And that's where Justin's company really shines. And I feel like I'm protecting my family without even really doing anything out of the norm except placing a bag of EMF rocks next to my router. I can't wait to get them around my beds and put them in my bedrooms for my daughters because they have tablets and phones and computers and laptops and TVs, and they're just constantly exposed to these harmful frequencies. So thank you, Justin, for the love. Thanks for the support, and I can't wait to be a part of this for the future.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you guys so much.
Take care. We'll talk soon. All right. Good stuff there. We got a couple minutes till the next break. Hopefully Jared will be calling in. I'm not sure where he's hanging out. They'll give us some analytics, maybe on this week's card, maybe on last week's, which would be a little late. You'd want to get the analytics on who to put your dollars on before the fight, obviously not after, because now I think I'll take Justin in 5 rounds. I'll take Josh in a knockout. Do you think Dana is upset at Josh for the antics in the cage and at the press conference? I know we talked about it briefly in hour number 1.
Well, I think Dana's in the same kind of boat of like the whole, morality clause we had with what do you do like with loyalty and friendships? And, as a president of the UFC, you have a script, you have a professionalism, you have an obligation. But when things go viral, when things go off rails, it's unequivocally beneficial for viewership, like
absolutely
viral content, money, like intrigue, hate. So the number one rule in marketing, the Conor McGregor rules, you have to be equally hated as loved. And so the more antics, the more outrageous, the better it is for the brand overall. So Dana has to play that kind of like that on the fence. He's got to be like, hey, that's not right. But at the same time, like, hey, that's really cool that happened that way because it's good for the business.
Absolutely. I mean, that's some things that I'm sure Dave Feldman was talking about, that there was some antics, some things, and I've been very vocal on some stuff. I'm not saying that he endorsed it, and I'm not saying that he tried to stop it, and didn't try to stop it. It's some things are good for business, no matter how. I'm dead against the antics at weigh-ins. I'm dead against basically everything Lorenzo Hunt does. Does it sell? Yes. Does it make him more valuable to the company? Yes, probably. But you don't need it. BKFC doesn't need it. The UFC doesn't need it. There's smaller organizations. Yeah, you need that because nobody even knows who you are. So yeah, no, I mean, I totally get it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was kind of humorous. I think he took it a little over the top with the interpreter, and they're both talking English. But whatever gets him. Now, I will say this. I'm a little upset at Josh. He made a big comment about how we reached out and we had him on, and I texted him 3 times. Maybe it was twice, to get him on the show today for Victory Wednesday. Never heard back. Is he too big for us already? 1 fight in, 2 fights in? We'll see. we'll see.
I mean, I think the answer lies in your history. I mean, no one's too big for Knockout Radio. Dana White's making a special appearance on Media Row for you on Tuesday, probably. So, if the head guy of it all is stopping his schedule, which is crazy, because I saw a video where he's postponed doing the blood transfusion, where he actually filters out his blood and then puts it back in his body. It's a 3-day process because he just doesn't have that kind of time to allocate to go into Tijuana at the CPI to do the transfusion, right, and the filtering. So Dana's the busiest guy we probably know. And if he's taking his time to come and stop by Knockout Radio, I think Josh has time to come by, or at least up here.
You would think, no, you would definitely think. I'm curious how Dana's going to like our jerseys, and more importantly, my jersey, as his quote is on the back of the jersey. We'll get those all on Friday. I tried one on. I tried mine on. It was a little big, so I'm getting a second one. But yeah, maybe I will. I'm going to bring the other one. I was going to have all the guests sign it, but maybe I'll have Dana sign the back. That would be kind of funny. Is Dana's the one that dubbed me the OG of the UFC, and I don't like to use it too much, but every single person in the game, in the sport, said absolutely put it on the jersey. Family members said, shut up, don't do it. But then they're also calling me an idiot for not getting off the Southwest airplane. So,
but but now you know about nosebleeds and exposures, and I mean, eventually it's going to make it to the PI and the Performance Institute for the UFC and fighters recovery. I mean, all these things that I'm bringing to you all through this channel, this biohacking funnel, these are things that I believe in. And I think are eventually will be commonplace. Just like guys are doing cold water therapy, they're doing ice plunges, they're doing sauna, they're doing red light. And so in the future, these things are going to be just as important. And EMF frequencies is a big deal.
I think, and I know we need to hit this break, and then you'll come back and kind of start off the next segment. I think things need to be explained better.
Yeah.
Not just I know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying Justin. I'm just saying in general. When you're speaking to people that don't understand, whether it's right or wrong, they don't understand. They don't get it. You need to talk to them at a 3-year-old level, not at I have a master's degree in whatever the hell you're talking about. So, all right, let's hit this break, our final break of the afternoon. We'll come back, and then hopefully Jared will be on shortly, and we'll talk about this weekend's Down Under in Australia. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by Staff Zone and 8 Man Strong. Just got an interesting text I'll talk to you about when I return.
Hi, this is Gale Prairie. I play with 18th County, San Francisco Giants, and the rest of them. And you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Got bills and looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is, as the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast, Texas, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, and many other locations. Staff Zone has plenty of work for you, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go to www.staffzone.com and find a branch closest to you. Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Fia with Remax Realty Unlimited, 813-494-4873. For 29 years, I've had the honor of helping families across Tampa Bay find their perfect homes. As a national ranked award-winning agent, I pride myself on having the best customer service and deep local knowledge. Whether you're buying and selling in Tampa Bay, I'll guide you every step of the way. Jennifer Fio, 813-494-4873. Let's make your next move your best move.
Say goodbye to outdated equipment and welcome the latest smart technology into your home. With Cool Breeze AC, you can effortlessly control the temperature and create the perfect environment from anywhere at any time. Call Cool Breeze today at 727-954-3605.
Don't wait. Maximize your tax refund and minimize your stress level. Call Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions at 727-739-8800. 8627. With over 15 years experience in corporate and individual tax returns, tax advisor analytics, small business accounting, in-house payroll services, IRS representation, as well as public notary and full bilingual services. Call Precision Accounting and Tax Solutions at 727-739-8627. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's true. Very, very true. Conveniently located across from the St. Petersburg Clearwater Airport.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to derail you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8 Man Strong.
This is Glenn Fry, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
All right, we are back. Final segment here on Tan Talk Radio Network. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone, broadcasting live from the Cool Breeze AC broadcast facility in Pinellas Park. Give them a call. Wake them up 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 8 in the morning. If you need AC help, these are the guys to call. You know, you're getting calls. I got a call out of the clear blue. I don't even know who this company is. They don't like it when you say, no, I already got somebody. I already got somebody to do all my service work on my AC unit. Stop calling me. We'll turn you into the undercover police and hang up on them. I gave them Cool Breeze's phone number, though.
Well, I'm getting direct messages from, media outlets around the world and the country saying, hey, we want to be a part of your network. We want to share resources. For some reason, they think that I am Knockout Radio. I don't know why they didn't message you with those requests, but they messaged me. And so it's good, man. We're definitely making waves and,
yeah, I'm not even sure how they got a hold of you or how they knew to get a hold of you. You still don't have a credential yet. I haven't even put your name in. I haven't even put your name in for the credential request yet. So I don't know how they got a hold of you. That's crazy. All right, let's hit this button right here. Let's add to the program our expert. We just talked crap for 2 hours and 45 minutes, but our expert is on the line with us, Jared Sturge. Jared, how are you? Can you hear us?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you. I wasn't sure if I saw Randy loading. So what's going on, guys?
Well, we appreciate your time. Welcome back. This is your segment. I know you're going to be leaving here in a minute or two, Matt. So do you want to ask Jared a question before we kick you out?
Jared, I mean, is there any truth so teams that play West Coast, teams that play East Coast, travel distance and circadian rhythm, there's a lot of research with the biohacking community showing that teams from the West Coast win higher percentages of games. Will that affect the players line in the Super Bowl? Does that matter? Do when bettors bet, do they look at those kind of analytics? Because I've heard that people look at personal reports, divorce, family trouble, sick children. How deep do they really go?
Oh, I mean, I think with the betting community, I think anything can be a factor personally. I think I would look at weather more often than not. If it's not in a controlled environment, I think weather, that's always big for me. I would say, yes, circadian rhythm. I mean, definitely. If we're talking fighters, I think there's a big difference because if you're fighting and across the world and you're fighting at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're used to fighting at 1 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, it's a big difference. But yeah, I think all that can be factored in for sure. I think it's heavily looked at. I mean, there's sites strictly for factors like that for travel time, weather, how early they're getting there, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, now with betting being as mainstream as it is, I would say so.
Jared, let me ask you this before we move ahead to Australia and what is it, 320, 325, 345, whatever it is. Go back to last Saturday. Where were you? I know you have these books. Everybody's told me about all your analytics is written down. And so what did you have last week?
Last week was a difficult one. I probably put more time and effort into that than I have in a long time. One of it being because I plan to distribute it to more people. So I spent I think I was telling people close to 20 hours on that spreadsheet last week, just getting it prepared. But I started off better than it.
Let me just jump in there real quick. That 20 hours that you just spent is more than Matt has spent in research in the 15 years he's been involved. So you are well ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to pull together from as many sources as I can, as much information. My goal is, my takes are not always unique to just my own personal takes. I'm bringing in a lot of different analysts, a lot of different personalities that I've listened to for a long time. So my goal is to kind of just put everything together in one place for an easy to use spreadsheet for people. So that's my plan, is to distribute it. But as far as the fights go, couldn't have started off better. I hit pretty good on some knockout props early with the first 2 fights. Getting into some of the main card picks, I was on the wrong side of the Paddy Gaethje side of the fight. I was there with Silva. I thought Silva looked pretty good. I thought that was a great back and forth with him and Arnold. The Namajunas Silva fight, I think, was left a lot to be desired from a spectator perspective. I think they both were fighting out of range and stuff like that, but I was on the Silva side by decision all day, stuff like that. But then there's stuff that we couldn't have predicted as far as going to decision with the Teiba Gauthier. I had that on the under all day, and then I did not see Charles Johnson going out in the first round to an older Alex Perez. So there was a lot. I mean, that's the fight game. That's why we like it. That's why we watch it. It was very interesting from a betting side, and it seemed to be pretty common amongst everybody else that I was looking at as well. So great start.
Let me ask you this about, because there's a lot of controversy in the main event. Justin Gaethje dominated the fight. I always say it's not fight of the night if you get your butt kicked for 4 or 5 rounds. But that's just my personal thing. The eye poke, there wasn't one, there was 2. And we've heard a lot of talk since the Aspinall fight that they're gonna be more penalties. They're gonna be stricter, and they're not, and they haven't been. Do you have to consider that? Do you have to look into that when you're putting all your analytics together?
Yeah, I mean, things like that. I mean, factors like that change the entire fight. Definitely, when you see that right off the bat, it changes everything. I think it affected him to a certain degree. I think that he came out and fought his best round in the 3rd round. So to how much, if he knew he was behind, and we don't know. A lot of people are kind of saying it obviously didn't affect him if he came out and had his best round right after. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that builds up too. The swelling, the aggravation of the eye, that all gets worse as the fight goes on. So I don't know if that. I think his game plan was the problem more than anything.
Absolutely.
But I just think that was not. I mean, that's right into Gaethje's wheelhouse. So it was game planning side. I thought it fell short. But yeah, I mean, eye pokes. We see that all the time now that are changing fights. And it's not what you want to see if you're on that side of the fight.
Matt, you always like to call my good friend George Gagel, and we talk about the stories about, he would always tell me that he wants to win the fight. He wanted to win the fight, beating the opponent at their best, not at his best. His best was jiu-jitsu. He's a 412-degree black belt, and he felt like, that's the easy way out. And I think that's what got into Paddy's head. Paddy wanted to knock Justin out, and I don't think anybody thought he could do it, because Justin has, a chiseled chin. A granite chin, and I think his ego, and like you said, his game plan is pretty much what cost him. And the eye poke hurt, but his game plan was awesome.
Yeah, I think we have to look at the game plan first. I think he got caught up in the brawl. I think he tends to lean on his chin a little too heavy. I think that's going to bite him in the rear here. If he gets clipped, it's just waiting to happen. But he held up. His toughness was never in question, I don't think. I think we all know he's a scrappy dude and a talented fighter, but you can't go out there and beat Justin at his own game. So,
hey Jared, there's switching sports for just a second. Super Bowl's coming up. There was a bettor who put a $500 bet on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. If he connects, if it happens, he's slotted to win a $45,000 payout.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that strategy? I mean, Are you a long odds guy in the beginning of the season? Do you throw bets down all over the place to hopefully hit that holy grail?
Yeah, I think I just saw that actually right before I came on. I was reading through it. If this is the same guy, I don't know if it is, but he's been on he's almost predicted the last 4 champions, and I think it was basketball, college football, something else, and he fell short on the last 4, and this is like his 5th go. I think it's the same guy. I'm not sure. From the future standpoint, I mean, that's if you have a really good hunch and that's where you're going to get your biggest value for sure. I think people are spreading it all over the place when it comes to future bets. I tend to not get into future bets very often. And even on the fighter side, I know a lot of people that really dig deep into who's going to be champion in 2026 or who's going to finish as champion in 2026. And the value is, I mean, you can put 5 or 6 fighters on there and you know, you only one has to hit and you make your money back. But I'm not a huge guy on futures. I think so much can change throughout the year from that. It's just not, I'm not a long-term guy like that personally, but I like the attack. I like the value. Anytime I see plus 2,000, plus 3,000, it's tempting. But I mean, to me, most of the time, I think it's a donation.
All right. Before we run out of time, we've got about 4 minutes left. Let's look at this weekend. UFC, I think it's 325. Big main event. Diego, another attempt at a title and taking on Volkanovski. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a rematch. The first fight I thought was very competitive. I thought Volk was at his best. I thought his range management, distance management was beautiful. I think that it's with Diego Lopez, I don't think his ground game is going to come into play. So we're kind of thinking about almost washing that side of it out. And is he going to be able to stand and hang with Volk again? Because I don't see Volk getting taken down. I don't see him getting taken down. If he does, staying down. So I think we're gonna see a similar style fight. I know they say that, you know, the fight number 2 never looks the same as number 1, but at what point? I mean, I don't know what else Diego can employ here from a rematch perspective, other than cleaning up his shots and maybe, you know, being a little straighter on that side, because he tends to loop a little bit, and that's just his style. So it could be another matchup issue where Volk is just right out of the way of it, and he comes clean down the middle and moves out of range right before Diego's back there. So I see it leaning towards the Volk side personally. I love Diego. I've followed him since the beginning, since his first short notice debut fight, and I thought he was incredible. He's a great athlete and got a chin on him, which when you're wild like that, you have to have a good chin on you. But I see it playing out very similar, the outcome being similar as the first fight.
I do as well. And your comment about it's never the same on the second fight, and I'm going to say I agree with you. I think we're going to see even a better Volkanovski. You know, he now knows. Not only does Diego know what Alex is going to do, it's vice versa. So I think he's going to be, you know, a better version. The only thing that concerns me is 6 months later, 8 months later, 4 months later, you're that much older. They both are that much older, but that's even older on Volk. Co-main event, I believe, is Hooker versus BSD. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think this is a prime spot for Benoit to come in and look like he should have looked in the last, you know, like he has been looking at least. I think as far as the ground game goes, I think we all know that the floor is lava for Dan Hooker, and he wants to stay off the floor, off the ground with somebody like BSD. So I see it being the dog BSD is. I see him, you know, absolutely employing a aggressive strategy against him, and I think he can do it whatever way he wants. Personally, I don't have a favored side on this as far as the way it gets done. I think it's going to be absolutely a contender for fight of the night. I think that comes with the territory for both of these fighters, and I'm heavily leaning on the BSD side, and I think the lines show that as well.
We got about a minute left, so 2 questions. When do you think you're going to have your analytic, you know, all together? When you start getting it out to people? It may not be this week because people are interested in that. And give me the heavyweight between Teixeira and Tua.
Yeah. So right now, what I'm trying to do is my turnaround time was always Friday. I was putting out these spreadsheets by Friday, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to speed that up or not. I take into a lot into consideration. So I would like to continue to have a release closer to Friday. I know that doesn't help with people who want to get ahead of the game before the line movement occurs, but sometimes that can work in your favor waiting till the end as well. But I really take into consideration the weight cut. I take into consideration how they look on the scales.
I do too.
And that changes my perspective. I can flip on a fight last minute because of that. So right now, I think I'm shooting for, if it's not this one, it's going to be the next fight card. I'm going to get it out to the public. I'm just cleaning up some things and approaching it a little differently because it's not going to friends and family. So I want to make sure I'm distributing a quality product. But
I got you.
Yeah.
I was going to say we are basically out of time, so just give me your pick. Who's going to win that heavyweight battle?
Yeah, I'm going to go on the Taliesin Teixeira side. I think that we're seeing a younger fighter with potential to move up the ranks pretty quickly.
There you have it. Have a safe trip. I'll talk to you next week. We'll be in San Francisco. You'll be somewhere around the world. This has been Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Summit. See everybody next week. Let me just end this. Oh, you didn't have to leave.